Hello and welcome back to our CAD clips on AutoCAD 2008. We're just talking about using the open command to open a file. So once we've started our drawing with the template file, we've added it and saved it, we can go in at any point here and click on our save button, which will instantly save it under the current name. We can say file, save as. If we want to change the name or location, we can click File Open, and we can open an existing file. We can open more than one file at a time, or we can hit our Open button over here on this toolbar, on our standard toolbar. So this is our Q New, Quick New. This starts a new one with the template as specified in our previous lesson. We say File Open, we can save, okay, we can print. So open and save. I'm going to just take that and put that back up on top. When I hit Open, I can then go and navigate just like I do in any other computer software and click on here, and I'll see all my drives and all my network locations inside of here. We can also add a shortcut to a folder that we use all the time, and I know a lot of people don't take full advantage of this. If we have a drive, an F or a J drive that has our project files on it, we should take that specific folder and add it to our shortcuts, and then if we don't need it, we can delete the shortcut later. These are just shortcuts, kind of like almost like a desktop for your AutoCAD open and save. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to navigate to a sample folder that comes with AutoCAD that you all have. So I'm going to go to my C drive, and under there I'm going to go to Program Files. I can sort this in any way I want. Program Files, sort again. I'm going to go to the sample folder, or I can type in just an S and it'll go to sample. Second Life. First I want to go to AutoCAD. Not navigating properly here. I want to go to Program Files, AutoCAD, way up to the top. AutoCAD 2008. Okay, I'm going to double click on that folder. Okay, then I'm going to go to my sample folder. Now before I double click into there, I can double click and go in and have a look. I'm going to go back one level up here. I can take that sample folder and I can drag it over to here. Watch, if I take this and I simply drag it over to here and let it go, now I have that on there permanently. If I just hit cancel right now, it's going to ask me this wonderful question: do you want to save the changes you made to the place list? So I guess this is called a place list. I'm going to say yes. So what I've done here is I started to open a file. I put a shortcut in my place list and then canceled it and saved that setting. Now, every time I go in here and I say open, guess what? There's my sample folder waiting for me. This could be any project folder. It could be any folder anywhere, as long as you can navigate to it here. Drag it across. You can drag in as many as you want, and then you can quickly navigate to there. And I'm just going to scroll down here to a file called 3D House. No, that's not it. I wanted Blocks and Tables Imperial. Just a sample file that comes with AutoCAD that everyone has. Blocks and Tables Imperial. I'm going to hit open. I'm going to open that folder. It's going to open it up. Okay, I can go back and hit open again as soon as it finishes loading, and I can click on one, and using my control button I can click on 3 different files. If I hold my control button, I can remove one. Now I'm opening both of these files. I hit open, opens one, opens the other. Now if I go to window on the top, I've got a drawing 2. I'm going to actually close that off by hitting my exit over here. Close. This closes all of AutoCAD. This closes only that one drawing. Back to window, drawing 3. Don't want it, exit that one. If I've drawn anything, it'll ask me to save. Okay. Now I go back to window, and there's the 3 files that I have open. The nice thing about AutoCAD is you can go from drawing to drawing, and you can cut and paste objects from one drawing to the next. Each drawing, although your interface out here won't change, the objects within the drawing will change. And if you're in, we'll see that you've got a model space and a paper space. These are kind of not necessarily applicable technical drawings, but they're the ones that come built with AutoCAD when you install it. So I've got one called color wheel, one called line weights, and then I've got one called blocks and tables. Blocks and tables has me in paper space. This is where my sheet, my title block is, and all my model space objects are back in model space, and we'll talk about that later. The text here, and I think these tables are all, and the title block, in what is called paper space, and then these objects down here are in model space. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but if you double click here, click, 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 you'll notice double clicking, I'll go into like a viewport, okay, and the viewport's locked right now. I can't pan around inside there, but there's a viewport here. You can see that goes around here. There's another viewport, a little one over here, and a double click back outside of here. Those two viewports are looking back into what is model space. If I click on here, we'll see I can hover over here and it says model. Pick. Now I'm in model space. We'll talk all about this a little bit later. In model space, this is where we actually draw our objects. It happens to be a floor plan of a two-story house here, residential, but this could again be a mechanical part. It could be any sort of piece of equipment. It could be a gas plant. It could be contours and elevations. It could be mapping. Anything you want. So this is just where all of that model stuff gets drawn. Okay, back here, clicking into paper space. Over here, these two buttons. Now this is what we print. We print this, and I don't want to go too much further with this. So all I wanted to talk about was our file open. Okay, or hitting open on here. Saving our favorite folder in our place list over here. Again, we can go back and go to any drive we want over here, take that folder and drag it over to here, and then that folder will be available. It's also available when you go File and you say Save As. Guess what? There it is again. So every time you save or open a file, you have the opportunity to use your place list over here. Okay. By default, drawings get saved as a DWG, but you can save it as a DWT or a DXF, and that is it. DXF, DWT, DWS for standards, and a DWG. Most of our project files, all of our project files, are saved as DWGs. Once in a while we are developing a template file, we can save it as a DWT. Okay, so saving the file, where do you want to save it? Once you've done that and you go File on here, you'll notice it will list all your most recent files that you've opened. Line weights, color wheel. This is typical Microsoft interface. So it will list how many files you have here, and I think you can control how many it actually shows in this list. We have Save, we have Save As, we can publish and use e-transmit and export, or we can hit Open. We can open a sheet set, a little different. Markup set, again different. So Open, New, Save, and Save As are main interfaces to starting up, saving, and managing our DWG drawing files. And one last tip I should add in before we close this off is when you do a save as and you're going to rename the file, which is kind of like cloning it, always make sure you do a save right before you do the save as to make sure the old file is saved up to the point where you do your save as. So whenever I go in, unless you don't want to save it, but for the most part when you do a save as to save and then you give it a different name to do the save as, I always do a save right before I do the save as, and that way it's a clean exactly where this one left off, the next one starts up, because sometimes you might find there's a gap between. If you haven't done a regular save in an hour and you go and do a save as, you'll notice that the file that didn't get saved is a lot older than what you thought it was. So just be careful when you do a save as.